And welcome back to Jeff Kanange live here in the studio on a packed bench following Mandamano Tuesday. On the far end, Shadrach Kiprono, right next to him, Wanjiro, right next to her, Boniface Mwangi, right next to him, Honorable Babu Owino, and sitting right next to me, Senior Counsel Paul Mwangi. We're talking about the way forward. Gen Zs have woken up a nation. Sort of like Arab Spring, I call it African winter. You may disagree or agree, it's up to you. Babu Owino, let me ask you this real quick. Yes. Got a message from Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah.
Yes.
He said, in all the years, you've been in the Budget Committee for how long? 2 years now? About 2 years?
Yes.
Maybe more?
1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Yes.
You have not written a single minority report, that's what he's saying. And you're talking about minority reports.
Jeff, let me be honest with you. That because it is now coming from a majority leader, that is in Kenya Kwanza government, he will not tell you that we write the minority reports. We have written several minority reports every other time for the 2 past financial years. Even this budget, we wrote a minority report disagreeing with certain items. For example, the issue of the renovation of the Deputy President's house. We say that this money is budgeted corruption. And we say that we cannot subscribe to it, we cannot assent to it, and we cannot be part of it. And because he's in Kenya Kwanza, he can write anything. And I want to tell you, Jeff, that anytime we make the budget making process, and we are there, we disagree almost with everything except matters development. Kimani Ichung'wah himself, he had over 1.2 billion put for him in roads for Kikuyu constituency alone. Why didn't he remove that? But because we are the minority in the budget committee, if we raise the issue, they say that they are the majority. And it goes to Kimani Ichung'wah, who defends it spiritedly and also religiously on the floor of the House. And he has 1.2 billion. That is lack of, it is not equity, because that is development only on one side. So, Jeff, I want to tell you that people like Kimani Ichung'wah, before he became the majority leader, he was a very humble person.
Now?
Right now, this man's ego is bloated. This is a man who hides his ignorance in his loudness. Jeff, this is a man who is messing this country.
Look, he's not here to defend himself.
He's here impliedly. That's why he has already written you. Yes, so let me deal with him. Let me deal with him.
Let's keep the conversation.
Wanjiro, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you run for office? You see, you're thinking about it. It's taking 10 seconds.
I would.
You would?
I would.
Why? Seeing that the parliament is full of these people.
No. I come from Mathare constituency, and our member of parliament has failed us time and time again. For the last 10 years, I've been a human rights activist. We've been saying, where is our representative? When police are killing us, when floods are happening, when this is happening, even there isn't demolitions in Mathare. Mathare residents are sleeping outside after the floods, That is not the kind of leadership we want to see.
So you would
forward.
run?
I would run. And I think collectively as a generation, we have seen what not to look for in leadership from the current leadership that we have in country. Yeah. We've seen not to have members of parliament who cower under the presidency, who choose to say, I know I was elected by the people, but now I am in parliament, I obey the president. Those are very backward tendencies.
Do you think there's a certain fear factor of some of these MPs?
That they need to lose. Lose your fear. Ruto is just one man. Kenyans are in their millions. It's an easy pick. Lose your fear. Go with what the people are saying. If the people have said, listen, we don't want the finance bill, it's so easy to say, as a representative of the people, my people have rejected this finance bill, I therefore will vote no. What is the contention about it? What is so difficult about voting no for that finance? What will Ruto do to you? We hear that he's bribing members of parliament. Ara huko mashinani tunasemanga ula ganji, but tunajua kura ni kwa nani. I'm not saying that they should take bribes, but I am saying do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
It is so easy to do the right thing.
And just for my generation, ganji ni...
Wait.
Ganji ni pesa.
I'm just checking, man. Just checking.
Just to be sure.
You know?
It could be ganja.
Yeah. It could be ganja. But listen, Wanjira, they say people change when they enter that house.
Correct.
Yeah.
People change.
Yeah, which is now the strategy that Gen Zs and millennials are coming with, that can we have an absolute overhaul so that we have new people that we can hold accountable.
Overhaul parliament.
Overhaul parliament.
All of it.
Pole Babu,
Pole Babu.
but we actually
Why are you
need...
apologizing?
He's the only elected representative of the people here,
Yes.
and we're talking about an absolute overhaul of the people's representative. It is because they have failed. It is because they have failed us time and time again. It's not that Kenyans are not seeing these things happening. It's not that we don't see the impunity, the corruption, the theft. We see it. It pains us, and the pain piles and piles until now we are like, okay, we are going to the streets, and there's no force under the earth that is going to stop us until we actually achieve our mission and objective.
Shadrach, would you run?
No.
You wouldn't run.
To answer that,
You're going to tell me another story.
yes, I want to tell you another story. I'm a data scientist.
Yeah.
Let me brag about myself. There are very few people in this country who know data the way I do. I cannot run. I would not want to run. But once I find the strongest politician that I would like to work with, I will run his data and I will get him onto that seat.
Or her.
Him or her.
Yeah.
I swear this. Either now or 50 years from now, I will make a king. I will make a president using data.
But the people make up king and a president.
Not a
Not
person.
data.
I'm talking about, you see, we see the people.
Yeah.
To me, one person is a number. What you call people, I call them data. I will use that data to send someone there.
But let me warn Shadrach that the only person who's going to crack it next time is someone who actually is really issue-based. Na sahi watu wamechanuka.
We will find that
We had Ruto campaigning on hustler narrative. Bottom-up, nini. So sahi watu wakorada, we are going to check your history.
But Wanjira,
And if-
2027 is far away, yeah?
No, it's not.
It's only 3 years
Iko mbali
away.
sana.
It could be sooner. It could be sooner.
Miaka tatu
You see now they're using commercial because they know they
Before
do
imeanza
to each other.
Yeah.
Alafu Jeff,
Have you seen they're using commercial? They do anytime.
you never know.
27 is just 2 days.
Ni hapa tu.
Ni hapa
Hapa tu na bado
Yeah.
kuna hand of God.
Invisible
Force majeure.
hand of God.
If you consider that it's a generation writing their own future,
Yes.
3 years is
It's
nothing.
not a long time.
It's nothing.
Those 3 years,
Because you're talking about guys who are about 30, 25.
Actually, most of them are 18, 19 key.
18, 19.
18, 19.
So if you take an average of 25,
young parliament.
they are talking about when they will be parents. They are talking about when they will be when they will be our age. They're talking about how they will live when they are 50. That's 30 years, 40 years from today. But they have to write that now.
The thing about, so these young people are saying, you want me to get a child and bring up in which country?
Exactly.
In which healthcare system?
How?
In which community?
Education
in which
system.
education system?
Yeah.
So they're saying, we are fighting for what we want for our kids because our parents failed us.
Right.
They never fought for playgrounds. They never fought for public utilities. And so yes, they're fighting for themselves and their unborn child. The majority of the people in the streets yesterday have no dependence.
And our generation is
Did you
supporting
see
them.
that tweet yesterday, or X, that said we're going to take our parents' IDs so that they
They'll make those bad decisions.
You know, one of the reasons why our generation is supporting them is because we don't know what to do, how to protect our children.
Right.
Until this happened, there was a despair. In fact, the biggest question was whether Ruto is going to change the constitution. And you know, and at some point it looked real.
Yeah.
Like it can happen.
But now
our excitement
There is
is now
no
we know it will
light
never
at the
happen.
Never happen.
It will never happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
It will never
Imagine
happen.
Never say never.
No. Let him there. Let him there.
So we are excited
Well,
to
listen,
know that we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Hapa hakuna mkoa wa Ruto. Hapa hakuna mkoa wa Ruto. You see?
Ichungu ako hapo kwa simu.
Listen, we are not. Those young Kenyans are not Ruto's wives. They are not Ruto's employees. They don't care. They employ Ruto. Ruto works for them. They understand Ruto is their servant.
Exactly.
He's a public servant. He's an employee. He works for them. They understand that part about this conversation. They're telling Ruto, we have no healthcare, we have no education, there's no money, but you're giving your wife 1.3 billion shillings to do what?
Jeff, we should not even talk about changing the constitution.
It is outrageous.
So the thing is, we're going to hold Ruto accountable. And how do you know how we're doing that? Beyond Ruto, people are going even after his kids. They're telling him, by the way, we know what you own, where you live, what you do. And I love the transparency, because Ruto wants to come to our pockets and into every part of our lives, but he wants to be untouchable. He's already in our pockets. And you know what? He's taking more than what we're giving him. He's robbing us, actually. He's a presidential robber.
Pickpocketing a naked person.
He's robbing us. He's robbing us to fund a lifestyle that we cannot afford.
It's true.
Let's have austerity measures. And finally, the last thing I want to say, we need a debt audit. We are being told we are paying debts. What are we paying for?
Those debts?
When these two guys came to office, they told us one thing. They got empty coffers, money was stolen. By who? If money was stolen, tell us who stole the money. Go after the thieves. Money was borrowed. Where was that money spent? They promised us a state capture commission. We don't even need that. Just do a debt audit, follow the money, we'll know where the money went.
Follow the money.
Unless the president, who was deputy president, he stole with Uhuru. Because walikuwa kitanda moja hivi. Unless they stole together. But if they never stole together, Uhuru and his people stole. Go after them. Not a single minister from the Uhuru regime has been taken to court about stealing from public coffers. So the thing is, Ruto asitufanye sisi ni watoto ama wajinga. He took up the Bible with Rigathi and they promised us they're going to find us the money where the money went. Aache kizungu mingi, achukue your passport, afiche ama chome. He stays in Kenya until he recovers the money. Recover the stolen money. Wache kizungu mingi.
Actually, I want
to tell you. And the devil, listen, Ruto anapenda kutuombea sana. Hatutaki maombi. The devil never stole from Kenyans. The devil is innocent. Hapa mnaekelea shetani. Mnaekelea shetani. Shetani ya kuiba.
The devil is scared of him.
And even God, God is just saying, the devils that you're talking about lives in this country. Wako hapa. Na skiza, shetani ana bank account. The devil has no bank account because the devil never stole. God has no bank account. Let us remove God and the devil from this conversation. We don't even want prayers. Just go after the people who have stolen our money.
Hold on, Babu.
I was involved in when we were fighting about the Eurobond, and we did a lot of investigation about the Eurobond. I still believe today that a lot of that money was stolen.
Yeah.
And when we said that, we were told we were crazy. But within that time, it turned out that Malaysia had taken out a Eurobond, and the entire Eurobond was eaten.
What?
In Malaysia, the entire Eurobond was
just
eaten.
Like Kenya's then.
They ate it.
Entirely.
All of it.
All of it. That has happened also. There's an African country also that was in Malawi that also had another, they called it, I think, a tuna bond. There are 3 countries where Eurobonds were taken and eaten entirely. Went into private accounts.
Babu, you want to say something? Hold on.
I agree that some things are supposed to be investigated.
Accounted for.
I can't believe that we don't.
I want to support Bonnie on the issue of debt accountability. From history, having a debt is not a problem. Taking loans is not a problem. And we have an economist called Franco Modigliani. He came up with a theory called the life cycle hypothesis under the theories of consumption. And he said that as we are, you can borrow money and develop yourself, get something that you can't get as at now, something that you ought to have enjoyed in 70 years' time, so long as you prepay for it. The problem that we have in Kenya is that we borrow money, we take loans, for 1, recurrent expenditure that does not bring development, and for 2, corruption. That money that we borrow, the people who borrow it steal that money. So you borrow your money and then you steal it. Number 3, for patrimonialism, to impress the keys of power, the people around Ruto. And therefore, those debts are called unproductive debts. So those debts, we end up paying them, and our generation, our children, will come and repay
One children then will be paying, and the children after that.
So it is not fair for us to take loans. Ruto has taken a lot of money up to now. So I wonder why the finance bill, taxes should be increased. And there's something that Ichung'wah himself raised today in Parliament, and allow me to explain it, about imposing tax on imports.
The eco-tax, the eco-levy.
No, generally imports.
Yeah.
You know, Kenyans consume around 80% of imported goods because we are still not in a position to produce, to manufacture. We have three sectors in our economy. The first one is service. The service industry consists of the banking facility, insurance, education, and health, which contributes around 65% to the Kenyan economy. Then we have agriculture, which is the primary sector. Agriculture itself contributes 19%. Then we have the industries. Under industries, we have manufacturing taking 9% and construction. Total for manufacturing, 16%. So the only time that you are allowed to increase taxation on imports is when a country is able to sustain, to produce, to manufacture, to sustain the 55 million Kenyans. But before that, why would you increase taxes if you know that the production level for maize is low? It means that Kenyans will go and scramble for the maize that is available. Then after that, there will be no more supply. Then we will develop a demand for the imports. The moment we develop a demand for the imported goods, that burden of cost goes back to the common mwananchi because that tax will be raised, so the cost of the commodities, the goods, will be raised. Therefore, Jeff, what the PR exercise that was done yesterday in State House is so clear. It is a strategy called the maneuver strategy or the decoy strategy. What does it show us? That bring all those bad things that we will remove eventually so that Kenyans can fight about them viciously and spiritedly, and then hide the ones that you want to pass, like the imports. Then the moment Kenyans go on the street, then we remove the ones that we didn't want. And then we say, we have already helped you. Creating a problem, providing a solution.
That's what Boniface
was saying. So we
was saying.
still have a
Reject
big problem.
Yeah.
Reject the whole
so
thing.
We have to reject in totality, and tomorrow we are voting.
Are we done?
Tomorrow we are voting at 2 p.m.
No.
And I will vote.
Magic wall.
I will vote. I will vote no.
Because we are not
We're not done with you.
I will vote no for that matter.
Orut Swasam says, it's good that our young people have realized our country is getting offline and they have taken it upon themselves to ensure they are correcting the situation on time. Keep it on the future depends on you. Mend it now or never, okay? Mamai K says, it is not a matter of sustaining demos. The train has already gained momentum and we ain't going back. Bunny, the train has left the station.
Yes, it does.
It has.
Does he know?
Good Barazawera says, I have 3 questions. One, ask Bonnie, does he in any way profit from the demos, as in donor facilitation? Answer that first.
Nothing, by the way.
Next.
How? I've been answering that question for 17 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Every time you come
Every time I come on show, I have to answer that question.
Yeah. Number 2, for Wanjira, is it true that her and the Gen Z group have derived their courage from many movies they watched to do the demo?
Absolutely not. We derived our courage from doing political education sessions to educate ourselves about what is going on, what we need to do, our history, and what is required of us as active citizens of this nation.
It's not Netflix?
No.
Okay, now question 3. Does Babu have blessings from Baba to support the demos?
Definitely, Jeff. Baba ni baba, na tunasema ni baba kwa sababu kama kuna tabu ana jawabu la ajabu kwa adabu. Allah. So we have 101% blessings.
Watch a Baba.
Baba.
Engineer Lazario says, time is ripe for generational change. Old guards like Aguambo should now rest and see how young patriotic youth carry on with their legacies. You agree, Babu, you agree?
Baba is still, you know, the ideology that is in Baba, that is the most important thing.
Okay,
so
Bunny.
If we need his idea in it,
you ask.
We want him.
Bunny?
He's a legend, he's a mentor, he has a role in this struggle. as a mentor and many other things.
Yeah.
But the leadership of this movement should be left to the people who are going to be alive in the next 10 years.
Wanjira?
I completely agree that Baba has done his bit for the nation, but it's time for Baba to rest.
Shadrach?
I agree. It's time for Baba to rest. Let the kids lead.
Paul, you were with Baba in 1990. What do you think?
You know, this is his legacy. If Baba had not done this legacy of protests,
We would not be here.
we would not be here.
And we totally agree. We don't dispute that.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I don't think he has given any indication that he wants to interfere with this.
Right.
And
Take up his mantle.
he knows that he's the one who set the stage for them. I think he's happy to see them do
And
this.
if he ends up in Addis, he knows that he left a good thing. I mean, things are okay.
And
I'm
even
sure he must be very
yesterday he
proud. Very
said that
happy
he's
and
very
very
proud,
content.
right?
He's very proud.
Yesterday he said that he's
He's a
very
very proud
proud.
father.
Yes.
But again, because of the experience and serious ideologies, we still need
We'll check
to
it out.
borrow something from Baba.
And you know what
I
you
think
need?
the major thing we can take from Baba is the ideology.
Yes.
Can we learn the ideology? He named his son
Fidel.
Fidel.
Fidel Castro.
Can we learn about Fidel Castro? Can
Yes.
we learn about Marx? Can we learn about Thomas Sankara? Can we learn about the great leaders of Africa and Emile?
Absolutely.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Can I read that? That's my brother.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so read it. Go ahead.
Atweldi
What's his
Khalifa.
name first? What's his name?
Well done, Caliph.
Okay.
That is my brother.
Uh-huh.
Let the opposition MPs not take credit of what is happening. Once they do it, it will become a political game. Thank you.
So we talked about that, right?
Yes, yes.
Wanjira, are you listening?
I am listening.
Nyantika Chester says, if yesterday and today's demos is anything to go by, then the message has been delivered and the writing is on the wall. Ignore the masses at your own peril.
On pop.
Bonnie?
I agree with that. So yesterday when people were arrested,
Yeah.
beyond the streets, the police were very friendly.
Oh,
Yeah, because they're suffering. They're suffering. And the president should never forget who protects him, the same police officers. And they see the wastage among his ministers. They see the wastage among civil servants, people in various offices that they give escort to. So the anger is not only in us, it's in everyone. We're paying for a house in front that you're not going to get those houses. Officers were telling me today, ambia president, hizi nyumba anajengea watu tupatie sisi tunaishi kwa nyumba za mabati.
Exactly.
wanakwambia wewe. And you spent the night in the...
And kuna mtu, by the way, there's one cop aliendanga hospital, Nairobi Hospital, akaambiwa pesa yake haiwezi tosha kwa sababu ya the medical care undercover. Na anafanya kazi status. Akasema mjinga ambaye anachunga hapa, bibi yangu naweza mpiga risasi. That's a cop saying that. So the president should know that the people who protect him are not well paid. Do you know where they eat lunch? There's a place called Migingo near Status. Ni place ya mabati.
I know Migingo.
That's where we eat lunch. And do you know who eats lunch? There are people who protect the president.
And they go back to
Paul, you were saying-
Wanakulanga Migingo.
But Gen Z cuts across. You know, when the lawyers went to the police station, and even today when they went to court,
Yeah.
it was a whole Gen Z crop of lawyers.
lawyers.
Gen Z has taken over the law society entirely. I don't think anybody who is even the age of 40 can get anywhere near the law society today. So, and that was going to cut across in the police. It's going to cut across in the military. The Gen Z is everywhere.
You should be very afraid.
Yes.
Like a virus.
Reason to be very afraid.
Jeff,
Yeah.
in fact, the masses should be ignored at the peril of government.
Yes.
Why? Because, Jeff, the masses spoke yesterday. They've been speaking before, but yesterday
They spoke.
was the optimum point of it. And I want to also appeal to the police, Jeff. Tomorrow, there will be demonstration. The police job is to keep law and order, to maintain law and order. Yesterday, I went to Nairobi West Hospital to visit a police officer who's lost both the hands as a result of the tear gas.
Both are gone.
Both are gone. And you know what, Jeff? These people, they have been sent by the draconian government. They are being forced into it. The police should keep off. They should maintain law and order. They should not beat people. They should not use force. And that's all.
Absolutely. Frank says these so-called Gen Z protests are just urban-based. We have seen political rallies in the countryside are usually full of people, including teens, waiting for handouts. It is unsustainable, and Kenyans will be back to voting along tribal lines come 2027. Wanjira?
We disagree. So
hey, let me tell you, if there's something that has died with Gen Z and millennials, it is tribalism. We do not subscribe. It does not make sense. When we walk into a hospital to get services, we are not asked which tribe do you come from. You're simply a Kenyan. So we can breathe in and breathe out. That tribalism is on its deathbed in our beloved country.
Shadrach, you agree?
I agree. Tribalism, dead. We disagree with
Seriously?
that.
Yes.
Right now, Gen Z's.
Senior counsel?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Listen. So Jeff, so I have 3 kids, and my first one has a Zulu name.
Yes.
My second one has an Arabic name. My last one has a Luo name.
Wow.
And they're Gen Zs, because my eldest is 17. He's going to be voting in 2027.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And even a better example is here, Jeff, who's married from the mountain. So I don't know which language to talk to my kids. So generally.
So there you go. So even our kids are like, this thing, we're not getting it.
Good.
And even Ruto actually is also a good example that was given votes by people who are not even from his community.
Yes.
Yeah. This last election was not about tribe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Crispinus Adams says, revise the budget, eliminate items such as 30 million shillings extras for NGCDF, renovations, confidential funds, allocations to State House, and on other developments. Let's develop bit by bit. Don't force development on us. Just reduce taxes.
Agreed.
Development should be development for the people of Kenya.
Actually, the money should
Not renovations.
the money should be converted
highways.
for development.
Absolutely. Katebe's K says, I am truly proud of Gen Z. They have redefined Mandamano. They are a tribe-less people. It is all about a better life for everyone. Indeed. All right, folks. Wow. Tweets are coming in so thick and so fast. We're going to get some final comments because we could talk about this until the cows come home, and which is a great conversation. Fantastic. But we're going to get some final thoughts. Wanjira, I'm going to start ladies first.
Yes.
Final thoughts going forward. Kenyans are watching you, listening to you. Your Gen Zs are watching you, listening to you. Talk to them.
Final thoughts is, let us see this to the end. Let us uphold the rule of law in our country. Let us breathe life to 2010 Katiba ambayo tuko nayo, which is the mission of our generation, really. I think the generations before laid down the groundwork. Now what we need to do is realize the aspirations of that Katiba. What we need to do is to actualize that Katiba and ensure that the rule of law is upheld in our country, that we actually run a democracy that respects and upholds human rights, that strives towards social justice, which can be realized. It is not something that is so difficult to achieve. We can achieve social justice for each and every Kenyan citizens if we unite and go for it. We are working on the unity bit. We are already united. We can see Nairobi, TIC, other cities are also coming together. And it is the beginning of a new era in our country. A new dawn has come. There's a twist in Kenya, and it is beautiful to witness. Let us ungana and do it and go for it.
Absolutely. Shadrach, you have a message.
Yes. For me, for my final thoughts, there is so much to say. So I'll use this to deliver a message to the President of the Republic of Kenya. This is a message from Generation Z, Gen Zs, Millennials, and Gen Alphas who will start voting in 2027. I am going to read verbatim. Mr. President, this is a message from the young generation. We know you are very eloquent. We have heard your sweet tongue for the last many years. We are tired of listening to your lies. On the matter of sustainability of the demonstrations, for as long as the finance bill in its current form continues to be debatable, we, the youths of this country, do not need financial assistance to show up, to make noise, to use tools and resources close to us to express our displeasure and dissatisfaction. We will stop protesting when you categorically drop your demonic bill. Final message, we are going to make you the first and only one-term president of the Republic of Kenya. Be ready. We are sending you home in 2027, and you will never step into country politics. Mr. William Samoei Ruto, receive our message. Thank you very much, sir.
Senior counsel, how do we bounce back from that?
I would pray to talk as representing the parents of this generation, because we really are their parents. First, we've done our bit. We were in the streets for resumption of multi-party democracy. We were in the streets fighting for a new constitution. When it has come to fighting to establish a just and equitable society, we have to admit we have failed that war. We can't deliver on that. I think my generation is happy to see our children take it on themselves to decide that they are going to fight for the just and equitable society they want to live in when they grow up. And for that, their parents support them, and they will give you whatever support you need, moral support. And this is your struggle now, and take it from there.
Senior counsel, should they prepare for a bit of disappointment along the way?
It's up to them. It's what they do with themselves. It's how they organize themselves. Whether they allow themselves to be infiltrated, if they are organized, and we were infiltrated. Yeah. Immediately after we got Section 2A, and then Youth for Kanu 92 came.
It was over.
And it vurugad.
It's the same guy power now.
Yes, and those are, I remember when I was in first year, Deputy President Rigathi was in third year. I think Ruto was... we were, at one time, we were... All together in campus at the same time. And even then, because when we were in school, I remember Rigathi Gachagua was involved in Nyeri District University Students Association, and they used to get people, students, and take them to State House for lunch, and people would get money. When Ruto left school, he went and joined Youth for Kanu 92. And this spent the billions on our generation and totally confused the hell out of everybody. And so that's how we were not able to continue with that struggle for the just and equitable society. If they don't take care, that's going to happen to them.
We will not be infiltrated. We will be here 2027.
Mheshimiwa Babu Wino.
Jeff, what I would like to tell Kenyans is simple, that let's be united. We, the youthful people, let's be united. Let's fight for this country. We should not leave this country in the hands of the irresponsible, those who are going to mess it. Hakuna shida ya Mjaluo, iliyo shida ya Mkikuyu, iliyo tofauti na shida ya Mkalenjin, and all other tribes in this country. And therefore, we need to unite and fight. The common enemy is poverty. Another common enemy is the defunct Kenya Kwanza government. Another common enemy headed by President William Samoei Ruto. And therefore, if we are not on the table as the youthful people, let us break the table, because you will be in the menu, and in the menu you will be eaten. And the moment you're on the table, we have to bring in our brothers and sisters, and on that table is where development is found. On that table is where school fees should be found. On that table is where capital for starting businesses for our young men, women, and the elderly should be. And lastly, I want to say that our rights come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hands of God. Therefore, fear not. And the only thing to fear is fear itself. As was said by Franklin Roosevelt in 1929, when there was the great American Depression that almost assaulted and crippled the whole world.
Boss, is there a book you haven't read?
And because of that, I want to advise Ruto, that Ruto, the only way to change an economy, to grow an economy, borrow from Franklin D. Roosevelt, when the global economy was coming to its knees. He hired a gentleman called John Maynard Keynes from the Great Britain, and he came up with a book called The General Theory. And he came up with the Keynesian theory and stated that the only way to grow an economy is to put money into the pockets of the common mwananchi, so that it can spur up demand and supply will go up. When demand and supply goes up, you will achieve the maximum ever
You talk about the hustlers.
Maximum economic equilibrium.
Final thoughts. You get the last word, Boniface Mwangi, activist number 1 who is doing jail time for the country.
So I'll start with the Gen Z. I'm very proud of what we did yesterday. And I know you're going to do a lot much more. I know that change is not an event. Things will change tomorrow or next week. It's going to take a time. It's a series of events and it's a marathon. So they should be ready for the marathon because the change you're fighting for won't come easy. And the government knows the only one thing, violence. So they respond with that and intimidation. Like there's plans tomorrow to come and disrupt the protest with people who are hired by Nairobi. UDMPs are planning to do that. But you're prepared to come and counter them with peace because you're doing a peaceful protest. But most importantly, that the president and his members of parliament should be very, very afraid of the power of the people. Anyone who's studying the oppressor will be seen as the enemy of the people. And the president should thank his gods that we have chosen non-violence as our tool. Because those young people know the same thing, they're radicalized. They have chosen a placard instead of making bombs or buying guns or blowing up buildings or going after them with violence or killings. So you should actually commend that. And that's why the president should respect the president and his deputy and IG Kome, Inspector General of Police Kome, should respect the Constitution, their right to protest, their right to picket. Mr. Mwangi, Paul Mwangi, and many others paid a very heavy price for us to get a new constitution to allow us the right to protest. So let's respect that. So all I ask is tomorrow when you go to the streets, let the police come to keep law and order, to protect the people, and to respect the Constitution. And I'm so happy for the rest of this country for joining this struggle against the finance bill. It's very, very important that we join hands because this bill is going to oppress every single person. And you have all agreed, we don't need new taxes. You're paying more than enough now. What you need is better budgeting. But you can't fix a rotten thing. Poisoned water is poisoned water. If I drop sewer water or a drop of shit in a glass of water, it's already contaminated. So if you give me a glass of water with clean water, but with a small piece of shit, it's bad to drink. It's bad for our health. This budget is not consumable. It will kill all of us. It will poison us. And if we become poisonous, it will contaminate this country and there will be a revolution. So, Mr. President, save yourself, save your government, and go back to the drawing board and give us another budget. We reject this budget in its entirety. We have even been told there's money for guys building roads. 1.2 billion. So this budget is bad for the country. Reject.
Finance bill.
Zakaya Shuke. Zakaya Shuke. Zakaya Shuke. She's wearing the streets. Oh, I'm wearing the uniform. This is the uniform. Come with running shoes.
I've been wanting to use this for a long time. Thank you so much. Shad.
Show up. Show up, please.
Show up. All over the city.
In every street in the
We are taking over CBD tomorrow.
Your house.
Don't come to work if you don't come for the protest.
Anywhere in Kenya, tokelezea piga nduru kwa mlango.
Shadrack Improno, Wajiro. Boniface Mwangi, Mheshimiwa Babu Owino, Senior Counsel Paul Mwangi. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Great conversation. Tell me.
Do you know that just like death, change is inevitable?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let people know that.
Change has arrived.
Absolutely. And the revolution will be televised or will not be televised?
It should be televised.
Whatever will happen is better imagined than experienced.
Thanks so much for being a part of JKLIVE. Remember, if it's Wednesday, it's all about those 3 letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Thanks so much, folks. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, good luck. God bless Kenya. And God bless our Gen Zs going forward.